Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this evening here in New Orleans. For those of you that are tuning in a little bit later, uh, hopefully you'll be able to get some good information out of this and you'll be able to learn more about the program, connect with us after. So tonight we're going to be talking about Tulane SOPA's Humanities and Social Sciences programs. My name is Chris Lloyd and I'm joined by Dalila Omerbasic. Just so that we briefly introduce ourselves so that you guys know a little bit about Tulane SOPA, we're going to go through a little bit about a background of Tulane SOPA, talk about the Humanities and Social Sciences programs. We'll also talk about how we support student success, how you apply tuition and financial aid, and if anyone has any questions throughout, we'll get into that Q&A section at the end. So really briefly to give an introduction, my name is Chris Lloyd. For those of you that have been tuning into our webinars, you've probably been seeing a little too much of me lately, but I work really closely with all of our prospective students. So for those of you who are still evaluating and still trying to learn about the program before applying, I'm going to be your primary point of contact for the application process. And for any of those questions that are really about the content of the program, you're going to want to reach out to Dalila Omerbasic. Dalila, could you tell us a little bit about your background and about your work currently at SOPA?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Dalila Omerbasic, and I am a professor of practice at SOPA. I'm also the program director for the Humanities and Social Sciences program. I teach in the Masters of Liberal Arts program. Also, my background is in kind of a variety of fields, but primarily in language and education, feminist theory, and also digital literacies. And if you have any questions about the program or the different courses that are offered or kind of the different aspects of the different programs, you can feel free to reach out and we can talk more.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Dalila. So just to go ahead and dive right in, to give you guys a little bit of history about Tulane SOPA. Tulane itself was initially founded in 1834. And from there, you saw the university grow. And one of the big growth areas was a commitment to continuing education classes that first started in 1886. So when you're looking at Tulane SOPA's history, you've got about 130 years of a commitment to adult learners. Initially, we were founded as a way for people in the community to get access to this really high quality education and access some of our courses. And then over time, we really expanded our offerings. And that really culminated in a relaunch in 2017, where we rebranded as the School of Professional Advancement to better reflect our offerings. So part of that is really helping people to gain more professional credentials, expand their network, and get some of that core knowledge that's going to be able to help them either in their personal or professional aspirations. So some of the ways that we help to do that is through our course offerings that are much more flexible than what you would see at a typical university. We have a big commitment to online learning, as well as these hybrid courses where you have online or on-campus parts. And then we've also greatly expanded our certificate offerings. So for those of you who are looking to maybe update your skills or want to move towards a graduate program, there's different steps you can take along the way to really get access to some of these really wonderful services. So I briefly talked about the ways that you can actually connect and take your classes at Tulane SOPA. One of those is that online area, and this has been a big growth area for us as well. So with the bachelor's, you can complete the majority of it online. You will still have on-campus courses. So for transfer students, you may be looking at partial on-campus. You'll definitely want to check with your academic advisor once you get in to see your exact standing. And for those of you who are maybe new to school or coming back after a delay, that's where you can really structure your courses in the way that's going to be the most effective delivery model for you. So whether that's using online courses so that you can maybe take the classes from your home or from your work, or if you're not in the New Orleans area, or for those of you that are here and really want that classroom experience, you can get that on-campus class. So whether you're taking classes at our Uptown campus or you're taking them out here at Elmwood, you've got that opportunity to engage with your peers as well as your professors. With most of our courses, you're going to find that they're offered day and night. So a typical course schedule for us here at SOPA is students coming in and they're taking a class once a week from 6 p.m. till 8:50, or if you're looking at a graduate level, it might be structured a little bit differently. But the idea is that you're getting a really flexible time delivery, and then there's alternate delivery options like asynchronous or synchronous classes, where with a synchronous course, you can log in, have that classroom experience, So you're actually seeing your professor, having interaction with your class, or you can do that asynchronous, where maybe you're logging in later and you're doing discussion boards and watching the video from the professor or whatever content they're delivering to you. So to go ahead and dive in, I wanted to turn this over to Dalila so she could talk a little bit about the background of the program, the offerings, and some of these key themes. Dr. Omer Bosic, could you kick it off for us?
Sure, thanks, Chris. So the programs on humanities and social sciences are very interdisciplinary and also highly individualized. So the students in these programs have the opportunity to study social relationships, practices, and structures. And also through this process, you will strengthen your critical thinking, communication, as well as writing skills. And you're doing this by drawing on different interdisciplinary perspectives. The students in the Masters of Liberal Arts program, they're exposed to a range of reflections on the human experience, and they're drawing from multiple academic perspectives. Students will develop an individualized plan of study that meets your intellectual interests or professional goals. The academic requirements for this program include 10 classes, including a capstone course, which comes at the end of your program. The course offerings are available in history, literature, philosophy, political science, and sociology, but you will also have access to the full spectrum of graduate level liberal arts courses at Tulane University. So there's a lot of flexibility for students in this program. And then in addition to our Masters of Liberal Arts, we also have 2 bachelor's degrees, one in humanities and then one in social sciences. The students who are majoring in the humanities get to engage in interdisciplinary exploration of complementary fields, including English literature, religious studies, linguistics, music, visual performing arts, art history, or philosophy. And then students who are majoring in the social sciences get to explore the cultural, economic, political, and historical contexts of societies. And courses are available in anthropology, geography, Latin American studies, sociology, political science, and other related fields. The requirements for these 2 degrees include 120 credits, and each major has a requirement of 30 credits. For students who are starting in the spring, there will also be a capstone requirement that comes at the end of the major, where students will have the opportunity to bring together all of the different areas that they've studied in either major and apply the critical thinking skills and the communication skills they've developed. After graduating, students will build on a foundation of skills and knowledge that they've gained through their degrees and be able to apply them to a wide range of careers. So our graduates from both undergraduate and graduate programs have gone on to work in business, public relations, education, arts, nonprofit management, consulting, and writing, among many other different fields. So there are a lot of opportunities for career options after graduation.
Thank you for giving us that overview, Dr. Omer Bosic. So I wanted to kind of segue into some of the ways that we really have some unique offerings for student support and the ways that we really focus on student success. So one of those ways is you're getting a little bit of a taste of that now, which is Dr. Omer Bosic. She's part of our expert faculty that we have and is also, as a professor of practice and a program director, she's one of the people that actually interacts with students and does some of that advising with them at the graduate level. And then at the undergraduate level, your academic advisors are, from my experience, incredibly accessible and also incredibly knowledgeable. So you're really getting people who are tailoring their advising towards your circumstance. So from my own perspective, when I went to college, I didn't have the kind of access to my advisors that I would have liked and that I see at SOPA. So I would have to schedule appointments weeks out. I might not have a substantive conversation or get the kind of depth I want out of it. But from what I've seen here, you don't have these long lines for advisors. You've got advisors who are giving a lot of personal attention to you by giving you multiple avenues to really connect with them. So whether that's using a teleconferencing platform like Zoom, like what you're watching on now, through phone, through email, through in-person meetings, it's really a lot of different opportunities to connect with them and make the most of that experience. Some of the other ways that we really also try to support student success are through credits for prior learning. I'll get into this in a little bit greater depth in a moment, but this is a way where we're able to recognize your professional or previous experiences and ensure that you're getting credits for them. Dr. Omer Bosic is actually the expert on this, so I think she might be the one who gives us a little bit more details here in a moment. And then I briefly alluded to some of these other things, which are our expert faculty. So one of the unique aspects about SOPA is the composition of our faculty. We have a lot of adjuncts who are drawn from the larger, we have a lot of adjuncts who are drawn from the larger professional community. So what that means is you don't just have this perspective where it's limited to academia. Some of you might know it as a kind of ivory tower syndrome, where you don't have that private or public experience. You just have that one perspective. And by drawing on faculty who are actually working in the industry and in working in these various interdisciplinary industries, they're able to give you unique opportunities for growth and can also really start to direct you towards career paths that you may not have been aware of. So that really grows your network and gives you more opportunities to apply the skills that you've learned, whether through your bachelor's or your master's, once you get out into the working world. Because what we found is that there's a large network of Tulane alumni out there who really are eager to help support other Tulane alumni by giving them opportunities to really show the high quality work that they do. And from our experience, there's quite a few people out there who know our work, and they might not be part of that alumni group, but they're the people who are doing the hiring. They're the people who are able to actually be the ones that employ you, and they know the quality of our work. So a Tulane degree is something with a lot of cachet. And if you stay in the GNO area, if you're in Southern Louisiana, you're really going to see that when you see the reputation that Tulane has. And for those of you who are maybe a little bit wider out and you're somewhere else in the United States or in the world, if you look at Tulane's background, you're seeing really high quality education, and you're seeing programs that really are tailored towards student success in their industries. So that means that we've updated our programs, working with outside consultants, working with people in the industry, working with some of our external stakeholders to ensure that what's represented in our classrooms is actually what is going to be needed to be successful in the workforce. So I think that's a really unique piece. And the last thing I really wanted to talk about for that student support and success is our career advising. So Miss Cynthia Washington is our career, she heads our career services here at Tulane SOPA. So when you're with us, you have your own specific career advisor here in Miss Washington. So you're not competing with the rest of Tulane to get access to her, and she can really give you that individualized sort of workflow to where she's working on your resume with you, helping you find internships. And when you're getting ready to leave, maybe she's helping you to find the right job for you, learn to sell yourself, doing mock interviews with you. So definitely take a look at our main website, sopa.tulane.edu. Check out that career section and see some of these events that Cynthia has coming up. And maybe there's something in there that is really going to connect with you, and it'll help you figure out that next step. So just to continue with some of these logistical details, I wanted to go through the application process with you. So since you're joining us tonight and you're giving us a little bit of your time, you're not going to have to worry about that admission fee. Typically for an undergraduate level, it's $40, or for graduate, it's $50. But since you registered and attended this event, we're definitely going to make sure that you get that application fee waiver. But you'll go to sopa.tulane.edu, use that green apply button. And the only other things you'll really need are about 10 to 15 minutes to fill out an application in full for the undergraduate, a copy of a government issued photo ID that is unexpired and where we can clearly see your name, date of birth, that sort of information, and then transcripts. So with transcripts, we can accept both physical or digital transcripts. So for those of you who may be high school graduates and you just want to use your diploma as a way to get into the school, or use your high school transcripts, you can bring those to us or send them to us digitally. For those of you who are ordering it from a school, we definitely prefer electronic transcripts. You'd send those to soparecords@tulane.edu. Or if you're using a service like Parchment, you would just want to select Tulane SOPA in there. And then for physical transcripts, you can either mail them or drop off a sealed copy that still bears that sticker on it, the Tulane SOPA Academic Records at 800 East Commerce Road, Suite 100 in Harahan, Louisiana, and that zip code is 70123. Typically, once you get everything in, you're looking at about 48 to 72 hours for your official admissions decision. With graduate, it may take a little bit longer because you'll need to connect with the program director. So there may be a little bit of a deeper review there. And if you are submitting a graduate level application, one thing you'll also need to be mindful of is giving yourself enough time to work on a personal statement. The personal statement is really going to be the way that we can gauge your readiness and the quality of your writing. So it's going to be one of the best ways to really give context to those transcripts and help us to understand you. So definitely give that personal statement some workshopping, lean on those resources you might have out there who can help you to develop it, or reach out to us and really get an idea of what we're expecting to ensure that you're able to match those requirements. So the application deadline, you still got a little bit of time here for spring. January 1st is going to be our application deadline to join the spring 2020 cohort. And then the semester would start just a couple weeks later. And then if you need a little bit more time because you're finishing out coursework or you want to start at a later time, you could look at those summer or fall application dates. So the summer application deadline is actually incorrect on this, I just realized. It is May, that is in May for the summer application deadline, and then fall is August 15th. So the summer deadline you're looking at, I believe it is May 1st as your deadline. But if you're actively working on your application and in communication with us, we're going to try to include you in our cohort. So definitely start the process now, and we can work together to get you to that destination. So for tuition and financial aid, the spring 2020 rate is $474 a credit hour for undergraduate, and then $1,039 a credit for graduate. So if you're looking at taking out any loans or grants or any financial aid, you would still qualify for any of the same financial aid that you would get through a typical FAFSA application. So those would be the same sort of financial aid assistance to help cover those costs. And then there's also a couple of other opportunities to reduce your out-of-pocket cost. One of those is that we offer discounts for active duty military, veterans, teachers, as well as Orleans and Jefferson Parish employees. So for those of you who might be looking at a career change, or you've just been working in the field and want to get that degree and continue on, you have an opportunity to really reduce that cost. And for veterans, you also qualify for things like our Yellow Ribbon Scholarship. So we've got over 30 of those. And with the Yellow Ribbon Scholarship, it can make up that shortfall between GI Bill or educational benefits and that cost of attendance. So you can effectively reduce your out-of-pocket cost to zero with that. So for our veterans, it's a really great resource to be able to get a high-quality education without having to put forward a lot of monetary commitment. So Dr. Omer Bosic, I kind of put you on the spot for this one, but would you mind talking through the credits for prior learning process for us?
Sure, I'd be happy to. So SOPA offers different options for students that have previous work experience or other forms of prior learning. And you can earn credit towards either your undergraduate or graduate degrees. Credit for prior learning can be awarded for both work experience, community service, and then also military training. We offer for undergraduate students, undergrads can receive up to 24 credits through portfolio assessment. Also examination, such as, for example, CLEP standardized tests or DSST tests, and then military training. Graduate students can receive up to 6 credits through portfolio assessment. And portfolio assessment is a program that we have in partnership with a nonprofit organization in Chicago, the Council for Adult and Experiential Learning. And it allows students who have, for example, work experience in a particular area such as a law or IT or digital design, to be able to demonstrate that experience by creating a portfolio that aligns with courses that we offer in those areas. If students develop a successful portfolio, then they would receive credit for that particular class. So it's a really great program for anybody that does have prior experience. And if anybody has any questions about it, I'd be happy to connect and talk more about it.
Thank you so much for that. As the content expert in that field, I really think that people who have questions about it should reach out to you and should go ahead and start that process. to figure out what sort of credits they might get and how to actually approach that portfolio class. I really can't recommend it enough for people who are coming out of military service or have that professional experience, because one thing that I think like we may not be doing a strong enough job of getting you guys to see is that up to 24 credits is a fifth of a bachelor's degree. The cost savings from that alone are worth exploring. So if you're someone where you're going through that career change, you have professional experience, or maybe you're just approaching these programs because you're a lifelong learner, these are ways that you can reduce that out-of-pocket cost and really get yourself closer to your goals. So I wanted to make sure we really emphasize that. So we've gone through all the content that we wanted to present, but I wanted to make sure I open up the floor for questions. So since we've got a couple people watching, I wanted to make sure we just give them a moment to submit anything that might be coming up. You can use that chat or that Q&A function. So I just wanted to recap some of the things that we've talked about. So what we've covered so far this evening is we've talked about the MLA program, so that Masters of Liberal Arts, and the interdisciplinary nature of it, and how students really have an opportunity to engage with topics that are important to them and really demonstrate those skills in reading, writing, and research synthesis. And then the bachelor's level programs in humanities and social sciences. So with those, that's really a great opportunity to explore your passion and to be able to take coursework in things that are meaningful to you, but also to take courses that span across multiple disciplines and really are, you know, a sort of connected web. So from my perspective, you know, it's a really great opportunity for you if you're someone where you have a passion that isn't directly reflected by another discipline, but crosses over between them. So it looks like we don't have any questions here so far or anything in the chat. So I just want to make sure we shared our contact information. So for anyone that has any questions and wants to follow up or connect with Dr. Omer Basic, you can reach out to me at cloyd3@tulane.edu, or you can give us a call at our main line here at Elmwood at 504-865-5333. And I can help to connect you with academic advisors, program directors, with the type of people who are going to be able to answer those really in-depth questions that you have. Dr. Omer Basic, did you have any final thoughts you want to share with our viewers?
No, I just want to say thank you for joining us, and thank you for your interest in the humanities and social sciences programs. And I hope to talk to you soon.
Thank you everyone for joining us this evening. And for those of you who are watching later, make sure you follow up with us so that you can get all those questions answered. And very importantly, thank you, Dr. Omer Basic, for giving up some of your time tonight so that we could share a little bit about these programs.
And thank you.
Thanks, everyone.